What's happening, people? I'm here with the main man.
It's the champ.
Make sure you tune into Pep Talk UK, where it talks boxing and
big up.
Thank you, AJ. Ladies and gents, for the fight fans locked in, for the football fans locked in, now it's time for some real talk on Pep Talk. Let's go.
Everyone talk good game, but it don't really faze me. The man that ain't mad like Max, the boy that not murky like Ace B. And them guy walk the slide on the back, balling like a baby.
Oi, oi, welcome to the Pep Talk UK Sports Podcast, the podcast that talks the major boxing and football news from around the globe, real points of view from a real panel, hashtag real talk on Pep Talk. Please subscribe to Pep Talk UK on iTunes and YouTube. Don't forget to like, share and comment. Now I'm your host, Frankie B, aka Pro Beast, and I'm joined with some lovely guests, mate, some good guys. First up, it's the Frenchman with more va-va-voom than Thierry Henry, more panache than Eric Cantona. It's the Pep Talk boy Pascal. How you doing, bro? In the building.
Frankie B, superb introduction. I feel ready to go. Merci beaucoup. It's been a little while, Frankie B. How are you keeping?
I'm doing well, mate. I'm looking forward to fight night. It should be entertaining, mate. On the agenda is unification, mate. I can't wait.
It's certainly unification. I've been seeing and hearing a lot more New Zealand people, over the last few days. So they are coming down in droves from Auckland. Shout out to the New Zealand Massive. And look, it's going to be a fantastic fight, I do believe that it's going to be one of AJ's toughest fights. I believe that.
I tell you, I'm so excited. I've started doing the hacker at home, mate.
It's going to be superb, I cannot wait for it. And every time a big fight like this in the UK is taking place, Easter weekend, Passover weekend, what more can you ask for?
A glass of red wine to that. Pascal, you want to shout your social media?
Yes, of course. I've been getting a lot of follows lately, so please carry on to follow me. I am Pascal_de_sad on Instagram and Twitter. Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, my boy Pascal. Now I'd like to welcome back in the building once again the man that supports Liverpool FC. It's another Pep Talk boy. It's my boy MJ. How you doing, bro?
Frankie B, I'm super excited. Listen, it's fight week. And you know what, also as well, I'm actually bored of watching games like Saudi Arabia versus Belgium. No disrespect. We've got the Premier League back again this weekend. So Frankie B, I'm super excited. Let's talk Joshua. Let's talk knockouts. Let's talk unification. It's a big, big week, Frankie B. And I'm super excited to discuss this with all the panelists today.
Mate, an AJ fight and the return of my beloved Gooners, mate. What a weekend in store, mate. Cracking stuff.
Well, to be honest, Frankie B, you shouldn't be so excited about the return of the Gooners. I thought you'd be happy to actually support England for the way it's going at Arsenal. But you know what? We got plenty of time to discuss this. But no, it's exciting week and weekend.
MJ, you want to shout out your social media?
Absolutely. Guys, I'd rather you follow than send me nice stuff. But you know what? If you want to troll, feel free as well. I'm also down with that. You can find me on Twitter, MJ Pep Talk Boy, or you can find me on Instagram, _Mike28.
Cracking stuff. Finally, I'd like to welcome him back. It's the most colourful. It's the man that's got a lot of charisma. It's the Boominator himself. It's Heavy D. How you doing, bro?
Yes, brother. What's going on, man?
Brother, all good, man. You excited? Fight week?
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. You know what? I love fight week. I think we had last week. Well, luckily we had last week with Dillian White. And straight after, now we've got the AJ and the Parker.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, man. Do you know what? I've gone off football since Arsenal. The way they're performing, I've gone right off football now. Honestly, I'm right into my boxing now, and I would say I like boxing more than football now.
Oh wow, it's a big statement.
I
Wow.
am a big statement. It's a big statement. You know, I'm known as an Arsenal fan and all that, but you know what? I'm into my boxing now, bruv, and that's me now. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
It's mad. It's mad. Even the O2 was lit. The way Dillian White disposed of Lucas Brown.
Yeah,
that was quite spectacular.
That was a sick fight, man. That was a sick fight. That was Dillian White's coming of age. That fight. That was his defining fight so far.
That's it.
That's put him on the map. Put him on the map, 100%.
That's it. And like Dillian White says, Deontay.
What's that? I missed that one. What did he say?
Deontay.
Is that what he says?
Yeah. He wants his title shot, man. He wants his title shot, man.
It was a title shot. But you know what? I heard today. That Deontay wasn't got coming over.
He's not coming over anymore. Why? Is he shook?
Yeah, he's shook, man. He's supposed to come over working for Sky Sports. He said, I'll only come over if you let me go in the ring because he wants to confront Andy Joshua.
Yeah.
But I don't think Andy Joshua's that type of guy who likes confrontation like that.
You want to keep it moving? You want to shout out your social media?
Social media, yeah. My Instagram is @HeavyDBoom, and my Twitter is @HeavyD. 2 heavies, Heavy D. So heavy, you got to say it twice. Boom.
Right, we're going to talk the boxing. Yes, we ready. Let's get into it. It's real talk. It's pep talk. So, all eyes on the Principality Stadium this weekend, where Anthony Joshua will take on Joseph Parker. Now, Pascal, it's the old cliche. Somebody's old has got to go.
It certainly has. I mean, firstly, I'd like to say that the better dressed boxer at the press conference was Joseph Parker.
Yeah, I see that tweet.
He was stunting in them glasses, wasn't he?
He certainly was. Yeah, you got to give it to him. So from a stylistic point of view, Joseph Parker, I was admiring his 3-piece, and the little swagger with the glasses. I think that's a man that means business, and I mean, let's face it, he's the biggest fight of his career. He will not have a bigger fight other than that. That's depending on whether or not he loses. But in any case, he's certainly doing whatever it takes to show himself as a gentleman and as a good representative of the sport. So as far as that is concerned, I will give my vote to Joseph Parker. I felt that the banter also was very good between the two promoters, and Eddie Hearn is very sharp.
Yeah. Higgins and Eddie Hearn. Yep.
He's the best at comebacks. He's very good. Higgins started, and Eddie Hearn put him in his place very quickly. But I believe that the fight will be a very interesting fight. I'll tell you why, because during the face-off, I've never seen AJ look so annoyed as he looked like he was emotional, isn't it?
Yeah, he's emotionally involved in the fight.
Man. Hey, that could be a world of punishment for Parker. AJ looks like he's going to do some bits in the ring.
I think it should go the other way, man.
You reckon?
It's... man.
When you get emotionally involved, man, you don't think with your head, man.
That is true. I expected AJ to laugh, to comment, to be a bit more jokey towards Parker, but certainly the way that Parker was quite arrogant in saying that he would decide how the fight is going to end, whether he wants to knock him out or take it to the 12 rounds. That is a very, very arrogant thing to say. You're coming over New Zealand, you're fighting on the champion's turf. He's got 3 belts, you've got the one, and you're almost telling him how you're going to beat him. AJ didn't like that, and the face-off showed very, very well that
AJ didn't take his ass off him for one moment.
He did not. I was on the edge of my seat, and I think that stare down alone sold the more pay-per-view tickets. I mean, he's going.
You know what? Sorry.
Yes, go on.
The only way that Parker is going to win this fight is if he goes into a gunslinging match.
I agree.
Anyway, if AJ does the boxing, does it by the letter, then Parker doesn't stand a chance. But if he gets drawn into a proper fight, I'm telling you, Parker, he's got a good chance, man.
Parker,
he hasn't knocked anybody out in 3 fights though.
Yeah, but he's got a solid chin, man.
He's got good hand speed also,
Yeah.
But we've got someone with 100% knockout ratio. In AJ, man. 100%.
AJ's wobbly, it goes down. AJ's wobbly, man. When he gets hit, he goes down, though.
Look, I predict that there will be knockdowns in that fight.
There'll be knockdowns, 100%.
There'll be knockdowns. I believe that there'll be knockdowns. But you know, I mean, AJ still looked the more imposing. You know, between the two heavyweights, AJ looked at least one head above. You know, head and shoulders above Parker. But Parker has got this Samoan confidence. You know, these guys. You know, they're not scared of dying. You know, he looked to me like, you know, Parker was not in any way intimidated by AJ whatsoever.
No, yeah.
And you know, it's going to be a fantastic fight because, you know, as Frankie B said, and as you know, Michael Buffer said, somebody's always got to go. When you fight for that zero, there's more. You know, they will be providing more entertainment, and I'm looking forward to that fight, Frankie B. I believe it's a 50-50 fight because AJ is fighting in England. I give AJ the home advantage, but in terms of boxing ability, you know, Parker is a good boxer. He's a bit boring, but he's probably the type of boxer that can rise to your occasion.
He's very mobile, isn't he?
He's got good movement.
He's got good movement, and he could be as good as whoever is put in front of him. So, you know, he's only been able to beat people that have pushed him. You know, the fight against Carlos Takam was a very difficult fight for him, but he rose against that, you know, and I believe that even the fight against Hughie Fury was a very bad performance.
Yes, but for me, he lost that fight.
Those Furies are very, very difficult, very awkward fighters, man.
They're very awkward fighters,
yeah,
but
styles make fights.
He still managed to get himself, you know, to get the W, and at the end of the day, that's what that counts. But I think this fight is going to be explosive. I really believe that. I think that AJ was going to go in there with bad intentions. AJ would want to knock him out, and I think because AJ would probably put too much power in his punches earlier on, I can see AJ tiring towards, you know, the late rounds, but coming back stronger, you know, in a latter part of the fight. But, you know, for me, if I'm brutally honest, if I was to predict the fight, I would say that AJ wins by knockout around round 7 to 8.
Round 7.
7 to 8.
7-8, yeah.
Heavy, just over to you now. We're talking about AJ tiring. His last fight was at his career heaviest. But this time round, he looks lean, mean and trim, mate. He looks like he's preparing for the speed of Joseph Parker.
Yeah, it's got to, isn't it? Because Joseph Parker's a very fast guy, and he's going to come in light, and his work's cut out. The other guy, he looked really sluggish. That's probably why he's trimmed down
against Takam. Yeah,
against Takam, he looked really slow, man. He looked really slow, and I think that. But I mean, I'm telling you, Parker is going to give him problems, man.
Yeah, I mean, Takam in some instance gave AJ a bit of problems. You know, he was very, his lateral movement was great. He was moving his head quite a lot, and I think AJ found it hard to pin him down. But that extra muscle on the night, I think, probably worked to his disadvantage. But this time round, it looks like we might have the AJ that fought Charles Martin. You know, the lean,
Charles
trim.
Martin, he's a pony though, man.
He's a pony.
He was a pony, man. He was the worst heavyweight in history.
It's true.
The worst heavyweight in history. You can't get worse than him. He went down in the second round. The first minute of the punch, he went down. Well, like a sack of potatoes, man.
What about you, MJ? Now, Hughie Fury for me in the last fight against Joseph Parker, I had him winning the fight. Parker got the decision, which was very dubious, but he didn't really impress me overall in that fight. What has he got to do this time round to beat Anthony Joshua?
You know what, Frankie B, everything that's been said so far is totally accurate. You know, so, Anthony Joshua is going up against one of those fights in which the general public expect him to actually walk through, but he's actually, AJ's a student of boxing. He knows that this is not going to be a walkover. So yeah, Joseph Parker is as tough as they come. He's a New Zealander who could actually gone on to go play rugby, but has decided not to actually do this, and has actually been in boxing a lot. Well, he's been in boxing since he's been young. Obviously, we know about Anthony Joshua coming into the game a little bit later. This guy does have a pedigree of boxing. So yeah, so in terms of someone who's awkward, we know Joseph Parker has got a chin, and we know he's durable. In terms of going those 12-round distances, he's very, very comfortable. Anthony Joshua, there's always been those question marks. Oh my God, he tires on later on in the fight.
Yeah,
as the fight goes on, his power kind of drains. There are all these questions about Anthony Joshua. I mean, he answered most of them quite brilliantly against Vladimir Klitschko, but let's remember, Vladimir Klitschko was... We need to kind of remember that as well.
There's a bigger fight and he was old as well.
Exactly. He's going against someone who is young, someone who's very, very hungry, and someone who's a very, very dangerous opponent. We can talk about the Carlos Tekkens, and we can talk about the Yuri Furies. These are very, very difficult fighters. And the one thing about boxing, which we've always said on this podcast, styles make fights. That's right. Yeah, you've got Anthony Joshua, who will be desperate to kind of hold on to this 100% knockout, because all of the sponsors, everyone loves that. He's literally a sponsor's dream. He's also got that kind of, he showed that he's a man for the big occasion. But you know what, Yuri Fury, what am I saying? We should not rule out Joseph Parker, because as big as the occasion is, he could just show up on the occasion.
I don't see it. I honestly don't see it.
To be honest, personally, personally, I don't see it as well. I mean, right now
he was shocking in the last fight, Joseph Parker against Yuri Fury.
Listen, right now, if we all have to put tips on Heavy D's Boominator bets, we're all going to put money down.
Boominator 365.
Actually, we're all going to put money down to say AJ is actually going to win it. So, so there's absolutely no two ways about that. But the only thing I will say, it's not going to be as easy as what everyone thinks. So, I predict AJ might have one or two rocky moments. He's not going up against a dud or someone who's fat and unathletic or someone, AJ on paper as well. He's got that. He's 6'6". Parker's only 6'4". He's got that reach. But you know what? One thing is going to be an absolutely great night, and everyone who's at the Principality Stadium, they're definitely going to get their money's worth. Maybe at the boxing, definitely not at the hotels, because I'm getting you can't match their hotel for love of money. So it's absolutely crazy. But you know what? We're all really excited here on Pep Talk, and we wish them all well. But you know what? If we all have to go on Boominator bets, I am going AJ, just like Pascal said, in the 6th or the 7th.
Now it's interview time. Now this week, ahead of the Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker unification fight at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff, our man on the ground, Shaz Mack, the boxing nut, managed to catch up with a legendary ring announcer. That man is the Let's Get Ready to Rumble, Mr. Michael Buffer.
Pep Talk UK are joined by a man who I describe as the voice of boxing, Mr. Michael Buffer. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Thanks for that very flattering introduction. Thank you.
It could be a lot more elaborate.
No.
A man that I've met in Oslo.
I can live with that.
A man that I've met in Oslo who represents female boxing very well in Cecilia Bacchus. A true connoisseur of boxing, Mr. Michael Buffer.
Thank you, sir. Wow. Okay. All right, that's the end of the interview. I can't take it anymore.
Well, unification fight coming up. Yeah. Joseph Parker, Anthony Joshua, Joseph Parker. They're both the main event. How do you see this fight going down, sir?
Yeah, two undefeated world champions, both big men. Everybody is totally familiar with Anthony Joshua, with his charisma, his power, his athleticism, his gold medal. He's a superstar, there's no doubt about it. Joe Parker comes from New Zealand. He's got a great family and support system. He's got a lot of pride, and he can punch with both hands. He's a legitimate heavyweight, and I think it's going to be a potentially a great fight, and it could be a tough fight for AJ, and we just have to see what happens. But the beauty of it is it's a unification fight. We're slowly getting to have that point where we all want to see is one undisputed heavyweight world champion. And so we've got another step in it coming up, and then maybe by the end of the year or early next year, we'll have a battle for the undisputed heavyweight championship.
You've presided over, or you've introduced a lot of boxers over the years. On a personal note, who were you most privileged to have announced into the ring?
So many really great fighters. I guess one that I could just think of right now, because we're friends and we text and email each other and keep in touch, is the living legend and Hall of Famer George Foreman. I love George. The irony to that statement is, as a Muhammad Ali fan 40 years ago, I hated George. Just like, you have your favorite team, and so you hate everybody else, that type of thing. You're passionate about, who your idol or who your team or who your favorite it plays against or fights. And so as a fan, George was my enemy because I loved Muhammad Ali. He was my hero. And then, I got to meet George. I somehow stumbled into this world of boxing, and this wonderful, charismatic, calm, cool, mature George Foreman, as he was in his second, coming of George Foreman. It was just a great experience in my life, and the night that he won the title at the age of 40 plus years old was just one of the most exciting things ever. And to stay in touch with him, that's just one of the great personalities that I've gotten to meet through the years.
Well, Mr. Buffer, thank you for sharing that with us. We look forward to seeing you in Cardiff. We all expect to be a fantastic night of boxing.
I think it'd be a great night. I hear somebody talking like me off my shoulder here, but yeah, absolutely.
We'll let you do
All
your magic. We'll do your magic line for yourself.
Yeah, now we got to save it for Saturday night, March 31st in Cardiff, and it's going to be a great one.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Going to edit this all together later. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Michael Buffer. Big in the game, legendary. Right. Now we focus on the lower leagues, and we focus on the good deeds being done by football clubs in their local communities. Now, last week was the EFL Day of Action, and we made a short trip, myself and Rhea Richards, the Pep Talk girl, to see Luton Town host a day of fun-packed football festives for kids with learning disabilities and difficulties. Now, two of the players that participated in the good cause were, first up, we hear from hotshot striker, red hot, with 17 goals this season, Danny Hylton.
Oi, it's Frankie B, reporting for Pep Talk UK. It's the EFL Day of Action, supporting children with learning difficulties and disabilities. Now I'm joined by the man that's in red hot form this season. It's none other than the man himself, Mr. Danny Hylton. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Mate, I always like to stand next to guys that score goals.
Yeah, I try and do my job. It's what I'm on the pitch for. So yeah, let's hope that continues. Yeah.
Now to the day itself. Now we're at an event where kids are being given a bit of coaching by Luton Town. Kids with learning difficulties or disabilities, but the good thing is what it shows that the club itself do their best to support their local community, don't they?
Of course, there's loads of great work that goes into that. The community trusts, they go out every day, work in local schools. Like you said, they go to places with learning difficulties and disabilities and stuff. So it's great to come down here and see all these kids down here running around playing football. They're happy, they're healthy, and having a good time, and that's what it's about.
And what I noticed during the event itself, you actually took part in a couple of the games, scored a few goals.
A little bit too serious, didn't I? I got carried away. I just had to let a few of them know, they're not going to take a place just yet. So I'm keeping them on their toes for now.
But the good thing is it provides a bit of inspiration to children that they're actually playing alongside their hero.
And you know what? People that play football, it is a dream job. It's not the Premier League, but it's still, you're in a privileged position. And if you can come down here, the least you can do is come down, spend a couple of hours out of your day, and put smiles on a few of these people's faces. And you go home happy, and it's a fantastic reward. So I'm happy to do that, and so are all the other lads. And so it's the least that we can do.
And the good thing is, Luton itself was very much a community team, because in the hard times that Luton have had in the past, their fans have always stood by them, a bit like Man City with their fans. And this is the type of thing that keeps the supporters, right behind the team, through thick and thin.
Yeah, of course. The supporters like to see stuff like this go on. They spend hard-earned cash and take time out of their day to travel here, there, and everywhere. And this is the least that we can do. These also are these are the future. These ones that are going to come in a few years' time and take our places. And or if they're not going to play football, that'll be the next generation of fans coming through, and it's great. So it keeps that flow going, and you know, if nothing else, it gets these kids out and it puts smiles on all their faces.
But Danny Hylton, thanks for your time, mate, and we wish you all the best for the season to conclude, and hopefully you guys will go up outright and win that title.
No, we hope so. We'll be doing everything we can to achieve that. No, thanks for your time. I enjoyed it.
Thank you, my guy. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Thank you, Danny. Finally, it's time to hear from the vice captain of Luton Town FC, a man that shies away from no tackles. It's Alan Sheehan.
Hey, it's Ria Richards from Pep Talk UK. I'm joined by Alan Sheehan today from Luton FC. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm great, thanks.
Good. So today we're here for the EFL Day of Action, which is the outreach service that you do to keep sort of your hand in the community, helping out kids that have disadvantages. How important do you think it is to support kids who may not have any sort of idea how to get into football?
Yeah, I think it's very important. You know, there's so many, I think everybody loves football, whether you have a disability or not, and no matter how talented you are, or how or what kind of disability, everybody deserves to play football because it's a great sport.
Yeah. And so what kind of advice would you give to children in that sort of situation to pursue their dream of football?
I'd say the same thing that I'd say to somebody without a disability. I'd say just go out and enjoy yourself on the pitch and play with a smile on your face, because if you do that and you work hard as you can, nothing can hold you back. Right, boys?
Currently getting the crowd of children who are all here to say hi to their hero.
Yeah.
So they really clearly look up to you. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's great, you know. Obviously, you know, I suppose they're from Luton, you know, and they come to support us most weeks, you know, so you know, we rely on them as much as they rely on us when you break it all down. So yeah, delighted to come here, and it's an enjoyable evening for us, believe it or not.
Yeah, no. So when you were learning to play football yourself as a little boy, obviously you had your idols that you looked up to and things. How does it feel to be that person now to the kids who are playing here today?
I suppose I don't really look at it like that. I suppose, you know, I just go out and play the game, and when I don't really look at it like that, in fairness, but it is what it is.
Well, I think that what you're doing today is really positive, and it's having a good sort of impact on them, making memories that they'll remember for the rest of their lives. So that's good. You should be proud of yourself.
Thanks.
And I know that you're playing Barnet on Saturday. I wish you all the best for that. Good luck. Hope that you win that one.
I hope so too.
And thank you so much for spending time with us today.
No bother at all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers.
Right, great job, Ria. And thank you, Alan Sheehan. Cracking stuff from Luton Town, giving back to their community. Right, now it's football time. The Premier League's back, and the biggest game of the weekend is Chelsea versus Spurs at the Bridge. Now, MJ, Spurs seem to be heading for that 4th Champions League place, and Chelsea really do need to get the win to close the gap between themselves and Tottenham.
Right, thank you, B. Absolutely. This is probably one of the biggest games Chelsea have actually faced for a very long time, because if Chelsea do lose against Spurs, and let's remember, a very, very good Spurs side, a side that beat Real Madrid this season, a side that were very, very unlucky but slightly naive to actually lose against Juventus in the Champions League, but a side that has been called the Harry Kane team without Harry Kane. So for that reason only, you really have to fancy Chelsea, because they have to be up for this. Because if Chelsea do not make the Champions League this summer, Real Madrid have been sniffing around Eden Hazard and also Thibaut Courtois. So for Chelsea, in terms of the fact that they're actually rebuilding Stamford Bridge, and they're going to be spending so much money with Abramovich going for his 3rd divorce, there's not going to be a lot of money. League football like no man's business. And you know what? I actually think Chelsea will actually have enough to actually do it on the day. I'm actually going Chelsea to win 2-0. No Harry Kane, no party for Spurs.
Chelsea are going to have to do something spectacular to stop Spurs from cementing that 4th place. How do you see it, Heavy? Do you see Spurs getting a point at the bridge, or you see Chelsea bouncing back with a win?
Chelsea going to win that. Chelsea going to win that. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah. You know what? The Spurs are a one-man team. They rely on their Harry Kane ability. So you know what I mean? Like when he's not in the team, man, they don't do that well. So honestly, like I can't say he lifts them when Harry Kane's in the team. He lifts them. He usually scores anyway. So I just can't see. I can't see them beating Chelsea at home as well. Nah.
Yeah. Especially look, if Conte doesn't go defensive, he plays Willian, he plays Hazard, he plays Giroud, he plays Fabregas and Kante. Definitely, you know, Chelsea will definitely get the opportunity to score goals against Spurs.
Definitely, Chelsea one of them teams that can just they can beat you 4-0 easy at home.
Pascal, are you seeing this one, Pass?
I'm certainly agreeing with everybody on the pod tonight. I believe that Chelsea will have no choice but to win that game. You know, because they are 5 points adrift, you know, they need to win that game. It's a hook or crook game. But, you know, let's not take anything away from Spurs, because Son is playing very well, you know, and he's scoring goals. Yeah. You know, and they are finding the ability to score goals without Harry Kane.
I've never heard that before.
Sonaldo.
So, you know, so I do think that there's certainly an opportunity for Spurs, you know, to cement their position at top 4, and all they have to do really, I mean, they're out of the Champions League, so there's an opportunity for them to secure their place into the top 4. But at the same time, you know, Chelsea are desperate to win that game. You know, I would probably tip that Chelsea will be also going all guns blazing, because they're also out of the Champions League following the defeat to Barcelona. So there's a lot at stake. You know, Conte is going to leave, but I think that what he wants to make sure of is that at the very least, you know, Chelsea can be considered as another English team to go into Champions League next season, or depending on where Conte decides to go, he may well decide to sabotage the opportunity for Chelsea to play in the Champions League. So, you know, it could go either way, but I think that the advantage is...
So you say he's purposely going to make Chelsea lose, is that what you're saying?
Well, you know, we know that he's not staying next season, but, you know, the advantage is actually for Spurs. So if I was Spurs, I would just try to play for the 0-0 draw or for a goal.
Exactly.
You know?
You really think that Conte would be that spiteful though?
You never know. You know, he's Italian. You know? These guys, you know, we've got we're not sure.
Well, we had Agent Check, didn't we? Remember we had Agent Check?
Oh yeah, Agent Check.
Right, you know,
dropping bare clangers in one season.
There's a lot going on.
The first few games he came to us, he was letting pure goals.
Yep, near post against West Ham.
I remember. Double agent. Is he still on the Chelsea payroll?
Agent Check, yeah, that's it. That's it, man. He probably wears a blue vest under the Arsenal top, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. You know what's funny about the Arsenal? But you guys remember how bad Chesney was before Agent Check side. Chesney was terrible. He was conceding goals and drinking water after doing mistakes. Like he didn't give a shit. So, it's so funny.
Dumb and dumb on, mate. Chesney.
I think Check is worse now, though. He's getting on now. He's worse now. He's letting a lot of goals, man.
Speaking of goals, well, let's talk about Liverpool. Liverpool always score goals. Second highest goal scorers in the Premier League. They're away to Palace. Now, MJ, take the floor away, mate. I think you can still catch Man United, to be honest.
Yes, we can, because United got City in the next round of fixtures. So, there's a chance we can catch him. But for this game, I'm going to go. I mean, we're really in good form. But we're also mindful of the fact that we've got a double header coming up against Manchester City. So we're going to use this away game as an opportunity to tune up for the big double header against Man City in the Champions League. We know Wilfried Zaha is actually just returning back from injury. Mm-hmm. And we all know, without Zaha, they didn't have a single point all season. And then Zaha and Roy Hodgson comes in and they seem as if they might have enough to actually stay in the division. So it's not going to be an easy game. Also, Big Ben Teke, who's just not scoring goals. I think he scored 2 league goals all
Lamppost.
season.
Yep.
Yeah,
he's become like the Belgian version of Heskey, mate.
Well, to be honest, he's slightly worse than Heskey. I think Heskey, at least, Ben Teke has actually been laughable this season. But he's going to be up for it. because after being a big money sign for Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp took one look at him and shipped him out at the very first opportunity. So he's actually got a lot to prove. And remember when he scored that goal last season, and he celebrated with Mamadou Sakho, who's also another one who apparently will not be playing this weekend, which I think we're quite happy with, because they're actually both on the same team now. They can score goals and make all the handshakes they want. But no, it's going to be a great game. But I see that man, Mohamed Salah, the man who went head-to-head with Ronaldo in International Week, narrowly lost. I see him extending his lead at the top of that goal-scoring chart while Harry Kane and Aguero are both slightly injured. And I actually see Liverpool actually winning this one. But being Liverpool, not keeping a clean sheet. 3-1 Liverpool.
3-1. And, you know, I'm worried for Palace because, you know, with a goal difference like minus 18... they've got their work cut out, I'll tell you that much. And they're not far away from being dragged into the relegation zone. So,
yeah, big things are going, man. Listen, Liverpool, they're not going to slip up there. No way they're going to slip up there, man. They'll batter Palace. No worries.
Easy work.
Easy work, man. That's light work, man.
What about you, Pass?
Well, I would love Crystal Palace to beat Liverpool, but what I want and what I get doesn't always happen. So, you know, in terms of the form of Mohamed Salah, I mean, he needs to be tested for drugs because the player is just unbelievable. And you know, if he carries on playing like this, it's going to be very difficult for Liverpool to keep him. But Liverpool,
PEDs, man, PEDs. He's on that Mexican beef.
He's on that
Canelo protein,
that Canelo meat. Yes, of course. You know, he's on that. But look, you got to give credit to Jurgen Klopp, you know, because he's certainly found a gem. We knew he was a talented player, but he certainly come to fruition under Jurgen Klopp, and he's playing some of the best football of his career. And also Liverpool are also very much still in a competition at European level, so there's a lot to play for, and they'll be up for it, you know. Now, will it be mentally? Does Mohamed Salah carry on? Does he want to certainly chase that golden boot opportunity and become the best player, best goal scorer in England, or does he want to look forward to the European games who are coming very quickly, you know, and does he want to make sure that he saves himself for potential silverware, you know, a cup that Liverpool can win, you know, let's not take anything away from them. They are a European, you know, team, you know, and they favor that competition. They know that they can do very well in it. So, you know, it all comes down to the mental fortitude of the players. And, you know, Frankie, the last quarter of the year is very different in terms of the football season. It's really when the champions are being made. Of course, you know, so it's going to be an interesting game, and I think that if they do beat Palace, it's not going to be an easy victory. I'd see no more than one goal being scored, because Palace can defend very well when they want to, you know, and they can also score goals when they need to. And we've seen what Palace have done to Chelsea this season, and there's no reason why they can't repeat that against Liverpool. But Liverpool, to me, have got too much in the locker, and they'll be able to beat Palace quite comfortably.
And, you know, just slightly digressing, you know what I find really interesting is Salah, how he manages to keep the Jericho juice out of his eye when he's scoring all those goals, man.
Yeah, it's true. You know, he's brought back coming to America, you know, coming to England.
Easy E, you know, CB4, MC Gusto and all that.
Yeah, I think that's what gives him the balance to score the goals, you know. The afro is spectacular.
I think the Jericho juice goes into the eyes of the defenders, man. All right, let's conclude our final game, the Arsenal versus Stoke. Now, Stoke are in some dire straits, Pascal. Stoke really need to be winning this game, but Arsenal, again, you know, it's a long shot with Arsenal of getting into the Champions League through the league. They might catch Arsenal napping, because really Arsenal's hopes of Champions League are all in the Europa Cup. But yes, this is not going to be an easy game for Arsenal. You know, Stoke need to really try and preserve their Premiership status.
It's not. I think Stoke will be playing will give as much as they can towards that game. You know, they already beat Arsenal this season with their goal from Jesse. So I expect Stoke to make the game even more difficult. You know, Arsenal tend to struggle against Stoke. But the good news is that Lacazette has come back from injury.
He's come back to miss some sitters, yeah?
is, well, I think that, like I said, will be kept for the CSK Moscow game, because the fixture is actually more difficult than it looks, because 4 days later, CSK Moscow are coming to the Emirates Stadium, and we know that Wenger sometimes has the worst selection process in his mind. I'm not sure that, he will approach the game against Stoke the way he should. He may well put in a very inexperienced side. By that, I believe that, Aubameyang and Danny Welbeck may well potentially start. But because Welbeck did well against AC Milan, he may well decide to play Aubameyang up front and maybe play in the middle the likes of Elneny and Xhaka, perhaps. You might see a different change in the midfield.
Yeah.
Also,
Elneny's got a new contract over Wiltshire. That's interesting.
Well, Elneny over the last, few months has proven to be quite a dependable midfielder. He's had some good performances, and he likes Arsenal, he doesn't want to go. He was given an opportunity to join Leicester and to join other clubs, and he chose not to do that. So I think that Wenger, has rewarded his fidelity and his loyalty.
The thing with Elneny is the only defensive midfielder that I know that finishes the game with his short, still white, mate. What's happened to the tackling?
Well, that's a very good point. But I think that he has shown to be quite a good player, over the last few games. He certainly has. And I'm hoping that he can carry on this, this opportunity. Also, let's face it, he'll be playing the World Cup for Egypt. So, he needs the form, he needs the games, to be able to be selected. So it's going to be, I think that the midfield against Stoke is going to be an important requirement. But most importantly, I think that the quarter-final against CSK Moscow will be on the back of Wenger's mind. So the team that is going to be playing against Stoke could be, I wouldn't say a depleted Arsenal team, but could be a team that, Wenger would want to probably get, to damage the limitation. And I think if we draw against Stoke, it would not be a bad result for Wenger, because he's concentrating against the Europa CSK Moscow, and also there's another relegation game against Southampton also. So the games are actually quite difficult games, and it sounds very bad to say that, because it shows how behind Arsenal are, but Stoke, CSK and Southampton are 3 crucial fixtures, that Arsenal need to win every single one of them.
Heavy, just to conclude with you about Arsenal. Arsenal really need to be putting away Stoke at home. Stoke have conceded a load of goals. They're second from bottom. They need to be beaten convincingly.
Yeah, but the thing about it, what it is? Right now, we've got to decide which one we want. It's like there's no chance in the league now. I know what you're saying. It's good for morale. It's good. It's that that feeling and stuff. And when you win a few games in the league, but it's got to be concentrating on the Europa League now. It's got to put all your chips on that now. That's what you got to put everything on that. Because you know what? There's no point in the league no more.
But do you really want to win Europa Cup and get Arsene Wenger to be handed a new 5-year deal?
This is the thing, isn't it? But you know what he's like, isn't it? He's champion, isn't it? You know what he's going to do. You know he's going to win, isn't it? You know that's how he rolls. He does it. By the skin of his teeth, he gets it every single year. He's always getting something there, alright. He never ever goes out where, where he's got no choice but to sack him. He will win the Europa League Cup. You know he will. You know he will. You know he's like that. That's what he's like.
Oh,
There's always something to keep him in the job. He always gets something. That one cup that puts him in the job. I'm saying a draw, by the way. I'm saying a draw.
Okay, Heavy says a draw, 2-1. Well, we will see what the scores turn out to be. I'd like to thank Heavy D, Pascal and MJ. Join us again next week for another Pep Talk UK podcast. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave your comments in the box below. Thank you.
Pep Talk UK.